Hello, welcome to Double Talk. I'm Mark Steffen, and joining me today is Gill Sorg, councilman.
Yes.
Las Cruces City Councilman, District 5.
Correct.
Thanks for sitting in for Michael Mandel, who's on vacation.
Okay.
And Gill, how long have you been in Las Cruces?
I moved here in 1998. Before the turn of the century.
Yes, you did. And at what point did you decide to run for City Council?
I decided to run for City Council in 2009, and I've been in the council ever since.
And you intend to run again?
I'm still making up my mind, but it's time, getting very, very close time to decide when.
When will that election be?
That won't be until November, so there's lots of time. In fact, we don't even submit our petitions for the election until September.
Now, District 5 is actually where we are right now. What are the basic dimensions of District 5?
On the west side, it's Elks Drive, and that's Precinct 83. Everybody in Precinct 83 is in the District 5. And it follows Highway 70 all the way out to the edge of the city, to the
East Mesa.
East Mesa, to the very city limits. And of course, everything north of Highway 75.
Right. Now, is there a 20-year plan that the city has? I know when I was doing another show back in the 90s, we had Brian Denmark on, who was the city planner.
Right.
And he was telling us then about the 20-year plan, much of which has yet to come to fruition.
Yeah, well, it's called the Comprehensive Plan. This is a plan for the city's development for 20 years. And we have other plans that are part of the Comprehensive Plan. We even have a 40-year water plan. So the city's all about planning.
I remember him telling us then at the time that there was going in the 20-year plan was a connector highway from Interstate 10 behind a mountain connecting to Highway 70.
That's right.
And that was part of the 20-year plan, which we should have had by now. There may now be too many
That was 20 years ago.
houses in the way. Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be a ways away yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what are your top priorities for your district and the city of Las Cruces?
Well, two main top priorities from our district, District 5, are the infrastructure. That is the roads and the drainage. To get them completed, there is incomplete or missing pieces of roads and streets that I'm trying to get finished and connected up to each other. Some of the drainage has been fixed already, and we've made some progress there. But we want to keep in mind that when we do have big storms that we don't get any flooding that is doing any damaging to properties. So that's the infrastructure. Other minor things in infrastructure too. And then the next big thing, or equally as big I should say, is the economic development of the city. We're trying to get simply this, higher paying jobs and more of them. So if that involves an existing business that's in Las Cruces that can expand and grow, add more employees, that is one thing we want to do. But if a new business wants to come here that have higher paying jobs, that is another thing we want to do. And we've been doing some of that already.
And that's what the new economic development office that has been kind of rejuvenated is tasked to do.
Right.
Now, and this all kind of leads us into the downtown revitalization that the city wants to accomplish.
Right.
And you've been working with that.
As a member of the TID board, yes, and following it along with the plans that show how the development of the downtown will go. And so, yeah, I've been involved in that. With the reorganization of the city's structure, that is going to be more involved in economic development now. That was just done this year, and so we're getting used to dealing with those things like not only the downtown development, but also sustainability projects, as well as grants and land management and those kind of things, as well as the Convention and Visitors Bureau. That's all going to be, that all is a part of the economic development in the city. And so, yes.
And
answer is short, yes.
Yes, and Convention and Visitors Bureau has changed its name to Visit Las Cruces?
No, that's an addition.
Oh,
That's
I
an
see.
addition.
Okay.
Visit Las Cruces is a separate group that works with the Convention and Visitors Bureau.
All right, and part of the new downtown, which is currently under construction, has to do with the Amador Hotel
Right.
redo, revitalization, and add-on. What can you tell? Here's a picture of the old Amador Hotel as it once looked.
That's right.
And that was the hot place to go in town back in the 50s, in the 60s apparently, the 40s, and now, well, here's a picture of what it looks like today. And it's been a bank, it's been county offices. Now it's sitting empty. Well, it's not empty, it's kind of a museum right now, and it's about to be revitalized and added on to. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about what's in store for it.
Yeah, the Amador Hotel is been slowly remodeled or revitalized up to its original state when it was in its heyday. And that goes actually back to the turn of the former century, the 19th century. But the funding for that has always been slow in coming. We just haven't had enough money. There's been foundations, the foundation has put a lot of money into private donations and so forth, but it hasn't been enough to finish it. So there's some rooms that are finished now, but with this project, this latest project called the Amador Project, the whole thing is going to be finished here in the next couple of years. And so it will be something like a museum. I don't think we all know exactly what we're going to do with it, but a museum is thought of as being a part of it, but an event place too, where people can have certain types of events there too.
We have a rendering of what that might look like. Maybe you can explain what we're
Well,
looking
yeah, this is the whole Amador project. It's the whole block. You see in the lower left-hand corner there is the outline of the hotel as it is today. There is a side piece just to the right of the hotel. That will be removed because that's not historic. That was an added-on piece later on. I don't know if the county or the bank did that, but that's going to be removed, and the original hotel is what will stay there. And then in the blue areas around, though, those are the new buildings that are being built now. The blue right there, the first place that was pointed out, that's going to be the headquarters of the Convention and Visitors Bureau. And then going up from there, we're going to have 4 new businesses, combination restaurants and drinking establishments, like a martini bar, for example. And then on the opposite end, there is going to be a tap room that for craft beers. And in between, there'll be a different restaurant and also a second floor balcony restaurant too is part of it. And that's the buildings on that piece there. In the brown is going to be open space and stage space. There's a picture of the corner that has the restaurant, one of the restaurants in the corner there. We were told that all 4 places are going to have food available as well as different kinds of drinks available.
Now, the one thing I'm not noticing is someplace to park your car.
Right in the foreground there's some parking there. In the previous plan there, you saw it was much bigger than that. But also there's going to be parking on the street right next to it. There's going to be parking right across the street, just to the north of this property. A large parking lot there already. Yeah, there's the tap room. And so there should be plenty of parking. In fact, there's parking in 2 different directions from this property.
Now, these restaurants and venues will be owned by the city, but operated by private individuals?
That's correct.
And this looks like it might be a rooftop thing.
Yeah, there's the rooftop restaurant and wine and I don't know exactly all they're going to serve there, but I'm sure wine will be one of them. And that's going to be facing to the east. We should have a good view of the Oregon Mountains, yeah.
As the sun goes down.
Right. And then behind there is the open space, which will have a small stage, and some performances can be there at any time that they want. Some local bands, maybe brought into bands from out of town. Various kinds of entertainment.
And that'll be nice. You can sit up on the roof and listen to the music and sip your martini. And
there you go.
And another part of downtown has to do with the Rio Grande Theater.
Right.
Another historical gem that we have here in Las Cruces.
That's right.
That's been revitalized, and it's been operated and used to be owned by the Doñana Arts Council. The Arts Council gave it up to the city so they could access funding for it, grant money. And now the city owns it, but there's question as to who's going to continue managing it in the near future. Do we know yet?
Well, what the problem came up, there's two aspects of this. The problem came up when it came time for the Doñana Arts Council to give an audit of the theater. It was due last July. The Doñana Arts Council asked for a 45-day extension to that. When the 45 days were up, the audit didn't come. And so an additional month or two was added on. And in December last year, we requested you must get that audit to us. Well, they did send it to us, but it ended up being an audit for the whole Doñana Arts Council. It did not have the theater separated from the rest of the.
And that's all you really wanted, right?
And that's all we want, because that's all the property that, or we have to do with the Arts Council is the theater. So they went back and took another month plus time to separate the two, and we got the final audit with just the theater in February, early March, and there were some questions we had about the audit, and so we sent the questions to them, and they have been answered. So that is a big concern for the city, that they can't seem to produce an audit on time and in the proper way. The second thing is the theater itself. Is it being used to its best advantage? I look at it at a high level. Should we have more productions, more venues, more shows there? That's a question that we're wrestling with now. We think it could be used more often. Many people do, not just the city. And that would bring more people downtown and revitalize downtown a little better.
Part of the problem with a theater of that size, it's too small to attract big acts because there's not enough people in the seats to spend the money to pay the talent. They would go to someplace like the Abraham Chavez Theater in El Paso,
right,
or the Plaza Theater. So you tend to get small acts, maybe one like Judy Collins or somebody
right,
like that, who can come in and it's enough pay for one or two people. And they're only there for one night anyway. So how do you fill it up more nights? I know local theater groups have tried to use it, but they're charged to use it. And many local people can't afford what it costs to use the theater.
Well, that, Mark, is the real question. Can we fill it up more? We got a report from our own Convention and Visitors Bureau director. He's now changed his job to be the Economic Development Director. But he goes through in this book I have here several possibilities of how he would do it. Not only have shows like brought in like Peter Yarrow and Judy Collins and those types of people, but he says that we could possibly do things in the area of tactical programs, he calls it, music and performing arts showcase, like we're doing it now. Maybe we could show more movies, special movies, silent movies, for example, for those that
I've wanted to,
like that.
I wanted to curate such a thing myself, and even make a class out of it. One movie a week for 6 weeks or so, because that's my level of expertise. But again, there's a fee involved that somebody would have to pay to access the theater. Right.
Well, this is it. If you have a variety of different kinds of performances there, both music and theater, as well as special entertainments of groups and of high-profile individuals like Judy Collins, for example. Right. You can possibly get a more variety of people down there.
Let's pause right now. We need to take a break, Gil.
Okay.
And we'll be back discussing this after these words.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Burke, and I have a confession to make. I have a serious crush on my workout. Hip, fun, and always a challenge. Jazzercise is the total package. It's the only workout that I've ever truly loved. Does it show? That's because I'm in the best shape of my life. What a difference Jazzercise makes. When's the last time your workout swept you off your feet? Find a class near you at jazzercise.com.
Celebrate, celebrate, Fiesta Motors.
Come and see us today and discover why our service is second to none. In business for over 17 years, we have the right car for you. When you buy a vehicle from Fiesta Motors, we do everything possible to ensure your satisfaction. Located at the corner of El Paseo and Main. See you there.
Celebrate, Fiesta Motors, where buying a car is always a celebration.
Attention homeowners, apartment complexes and business parks and homeowners associations. Now is the best time to make your property beautiful again. Since 1967, Gonzalez Landscaping has offered beautiful professional landscaping services to all of southern New Mexico. Our team has been designing and installing landscapes for over 47 years. Where quality is an obsession, Gonzalez Landscaping is locally owned and operated. We are licensed commercial, residential specialists dedicated to providing reliable and quality service. We offer residential and commercial landscaping design, full lawn, tree and shrub care, with annuals and perennials, tree and palm trimming, spring and fall cleanups, mulching and more. Let us do the work at prices you can afford. We service all of Las Cruces. We are New Mexico's premier commercial landscaping and residential landscaping company. Visit us online at gonzalesnursery.com or call us for a free estimate. 575-382-7272.
We're back talking with Gill Sorg, talking about the city in downtown Las Cruces, specifically the Rio Grande Theater right now. Should the Rio Grande Theater have to make money?
No, I don't believe it should have to make money. It's okay if it breaks even, but we don't want it to lose too much money either. I think the goal could be close to breaking even, but it doesn't have to even go that far, just so long as it isn't really going in the red bad. But no, it's arts and performing arts, as well as all other arts, have always been subsidized by the people in general through governments. And so this is not a problem for me. I support the arts and with both my time and my money, and I think that's important, very important for our quality of life in Las Cruces.
Sure, it's our culture, and one of the things I've noticed around here, which you seem to see here more than in maybe other parts of the country, is people expect to get their art for free. Mm-hmm. They expect artists to paint their paintings for almost nothing, mm-hmm. or free. They want their actors to work for nothing, mm-hmm. and their musicians as well. And so in some cases you get what you pay for, but here you get a lot more than what you're paying for, because you're getting some pretty quality stuff a lot of the time for very little.
Yes, that's
and
right.
Even when you're paying to go see a play, say downtown at the Black Box Theater or the Community Theater, you're paying to see that show. All you're paying for is what it costs to put up the show. The actors usually don't get, they get little or nothing. Mm. So they're doing it for the love of it and for the experience of it. I would like to see that change where people can get paid what they're worth.
Yeah. I've got some personal experience with that. My son did live in northern Idaho at a town called Sandpoint, Idaho, and they had a community theater there. He got very involved in that. He put on many performances, both as an actor and as a director. And he got little or no pay. I'll never forget the one show that did produce a little money. He got $200, I think. Mm-hmm. He was so excited about that. Yeah. So I know what it means in the performance arts, at least.
Right. In other places like Los Angeles and New York, where an actor will do a show for little or nothing, they stand a good chance of being noticed and seen and hired.
Yes.
You know, that's kind of a job audition, really, if you're in a market such as that.
Right.
Here, it's not the case, really.
In fact, it leads us into what we're hoping to have here that will pay is a soundstage or studio for films to be made. And that's moving right along. We're making progress on that, and we're hoping that pretty soon we'll have such a thing. And that could bring in the large amounts of money for films, television programs, and all the ancillary type programming and so forth, commercials, for example, that we could have here on a steady basis and keep people employed. That's all part of the economic development that I'm
the way
talking
that
about.
Santa Fe and Albuquerque do now.
Yes.
I know it's a whole different topic that we could spend the entire half hour on. And I'd like to do that at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But I am hesitant, I'll just say, that to have the university involved in it. On their property, they can, you know what I'm saying? Right now the plan is to have it on their property. And
no, not necessarily.
well, that's one of the plans.
One, yeah.
Yeah. So,
But we're not looking at that right now.
okay. Speaking of the Rio Grande Theater, tonight is an example of the theater getting use. The Latin Comedy Jam is there tonight. You'll see, I think, 4 comedians down there, 7 o'clock. Unfortunately, when the theater lets out, there's no place to eat downtown anymore.
Yeah.
And that's a shame. But there are other places that open around town that you could access.
Well, with the amateur project, you know,
Yes.
there'll be soon a place there. By the end of next year, for sure, there will be some place to eat and drink then after shows.
And I would love to see a small hotel built down there on Main Street, which would also have a restaurant open late, one would hope.
Yes.
Now, you know, I drive around town a lot and I see construction, and when they pave the road, and when they do that, they add a median that was never there before, right down the middle of that. Mm-hmm. Now, I know somebody's getting rich off of these medians, beside the contractors. Why the sudden trend for medians? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, I'm not the expert on that. I've been told it's for safety purposes. It does make a safer street to drive on.
But it eliminates a turn left lane, which means traffic now backs up behind them. If they can turn left at an opening in the median. For instance, on Missouri, they put in a median, and then they realized people couldn't access the business, so they had to tear the median away at great expense. And if you've noticed the median, if you're traveling north on Missouri, you go under the freeway and you turn right on Don Roser. There is the worst, silliest median I've ever seen. It curves around, and it's actually in the way, and I think it's a danger. Next time you're over there, take a look at it.
I haven't been there yet.
I don't understand the reason for its existence, but anyway, I think when they redo Valley Drive, I hope they don't try to make it like every other street in town clogged with medians. I like it the way it is now. It's got its own character. It doesn't have sidewalks everywhere. It's got large turn-ins to businesses. And I think it should have its own character and not be like every other street in town. But I know that's not going to happen. But one thing we need to warn people about is that the river starts flowing this weekend.
That's right.
They'll be opening the dam on Saturday, and it usually takes water about a day to get here, depending on how dry the riverbed is. We've had some rain. We had some rain the other night, but the drier the river is, the more the water soaks into it as it slowly seeps down. It'll also be bringing with it debris, trees and limbs and all kinds of things. So by Sunday, stay out of the river. It's fun to watch it. I've never seen it as the headwaters arrive.
I saw it once. Yeah.
And does it begin as a slow trickle?
Very slow trickle, yeah.
And then eventually it reaches its full volume. How long does that take?
At any one spot, hours. Several hours. I didn't stay long enough to see the how long it took, but at the rate it was going, I knew it would be hours.
And that means that irrigation ditches will soon be full too, as the irrigation season is upon us. And so keep your kids out of the river, keep your kids out of the ditches, and because they'll soon be full of water.
That's very good advice.
Also, we were talking about downtown. The Las Cruces Community Theater tonight has a presentation of one-act plays. These are all locally written and directed, some of them directed by the writers. That's tonight and Sunday matinee, and also next week. And so that's going on downtown. Another thing going on downtown, just down the street at the other theater, the Black Box Theater, final weekend for a conference of birds. This is basically an ancient poem that's being dramatized, and it's a very stylized production, and which I have not seen yet, and I'm looking forward to it. So that's at the Black Box Theater tonight, Sunday matinees, at both of them. And we also have a show. We have a brand new program here on the Las Cruces channel, which follows this show. Saturdays, it'll be on at 11:30. It's called Living Consciously with Dr. Carol Carnes. And I recommend you stay tuned to that once the show is over. She writes for the Las Cruces Bulletin. And hers is all about positive living. And I'm looking forward to seeing that show. Now, the NCAA playoffs are upon us.
Yes.
The Final Four. And I've kind of been watching it. I'm always interested when the Aggies make it to the NCAA tournament. They never get past the first round, unfortunately.
They will some year.
They have way in the past, and I was there for that. But this year, we're down to the Final Four. They'll be playing, well, they're playing in Las Vegas, aren't they? No.
Phoenix.
Phoenix, that's correct.
Phoenix, yeah.
And so that'll be, well, what, Saturday?
Saturday.
And then that's the 2 games Saturday. And then the winners of those 2 games will play each other for the final game on Monday. You were mentioning Gonzaga.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one you're pulling for?
Yeah, Gonzaga plays South Carolina in the first game. I believe it's the first game anyway. And then Oregon plays North Carolina, University of North Carolina, in the second game. And
that's who you want to win. What do you expect to win?
Oh, this is really wide open. People have talked about any one of the 4 could possibly take it.
Now, 3 of them are you kind of expect to be there. Isn't Gonzaga kind of the spoiler, the one that snuck in?
No, I think South Carolina would be better qualified to call that.
Okay.
But yeah, any one of the other 3 sounds like it seems like they would be the better possible winner of it all.
Well, you can't see it on this channel, but and I'm not sure which channel it's on. But Gill, I want to thank you for joining us on this show.
Oh, you're my pleasure.
And you had a lot of good information to give our viewers, and you're welcome to come back anytime.
I'd love to.
Well, that's it for Double Talk this week. And Michael Mandel is still out of town, and he'll be back in 2 weeks. So thanks for joining us here on Double Talk.